right, welcome back in-game live game day here on the Sports Grid Network. A big 3rd and 4 coming up here for the Bears, trying to extend this drive 17-9, but that clock is not their friend right now. But the good news is they do have, they got the first down, so things are going from bad to worse for the Philadelphia Eagles. Much like this show, as we welcome in Nick Hamady joining us here. Always a pleasure to have Nick on the show, so we can turn our attention here and talk a little NBA, my man, because we were mentioning it before. This NBA Cup thing is I love the concept, love what they're doing. Not all of these NBA Cup games tonight have any ramifications. A lot of teams that are already out of it are still playing, so it's nothing more than like a Friday night game. But there are some games that have a little bit of juice here tonight. And I mean, tell me the one game that is most intriguing to you tonight. I can't believe Memphis and the Clippers are somehow still in the NBA Cup situation. I can't believe OKC is laying 16 points against Phoenix when it doesn't matter what they do in this game, they're advancing. So what's the game that you think sticks out to you the most here tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to take a peek at a good team versus a bad team. I feel like I've had better luck with that, especially as of late in the cup action. I'm going to look at the 76ers and the Nets to go over the first quarter over of 57.5. The 76ers somehow, they've had a good season so far, but they still rank 28th in the league in first quarter points allowed, and they're going up against a Nets team that I think everybody knows at this point is absolutely terrible. The first meeting between these two teams had 77 points, sailed over 57.5 by 20. So I expect another big first quarter out of the Nets and the 76ers. The 76ers have been fun. They played a fast rate and a fast pace, and I expect that to continue. With the competition picking up, I'm going to stay away from the full game total. But, first quarter over here.
As we turn to some of the other games, one game that caught my eye would be the Cavs taking on the Hawks because, the Cavs are still not eliminated at this point. They're laying 6.5, but we know the point differential can come into play in terms of them clinching. So I'm playing the Cavs at -9.5 at +128 instead of -6.5 because they do need to run up the score in order to potentially secure their spot. Do you like that look, or do you just like this game overall?
It's tough because the Hawks have been undermanned all year, but they found a way to figure it out. It seems like the Hawks are one of those teams that they play hard. I saw them in Phoenix a couple of weeks ago. They put on a show late in that game to come back and get the win. I wouldn't fade the Hawks. I think 10's a little bit steep, but I understand where your head's at there because, like you said, you see teams with like 16 seconds left still putting up points, especially when winning for this point margin in the in-season tournament. I don't think that the point margin matters as much. I'm not going to go as high as a 9 or 10 points here. It's probably a stay away from game for me. I did take a look at the over in that game. The number was just a little bit too high for me to actually take. And as we mentioned, it might be a little bit more competitive being that it is a in-season tournament game.
Okay.
I think the Orlando-Detroit game is fascinating, too, with, two teams very much alive for the NBA Cup here. Orlando's won 7 of its last 9 without Boncaro. They won't have him here tonight. They're getting a lot of, production from everybody else, which is great. Yeah. But, this is their 3rd straight road game. And Detroit only lost because, Boston had to make 21 threes in order to make it even close. They are really good at home, but this opened up 5.5, and it's been nothing but Orlando money here because I'm seeing 3s available. And I got whoa, can we pump the brakes on Orlando here? It feels like pretty good spot to back Detroit.
It does. And like you mentioned, Orlando's a team that just relies on their role players every single game. They've been another team that's just been banged up throughout the season. We haven't seen them at full strength, so I wouldn't worry that much about that. But I will say this, Detroit's a team right now that for whatever reason, without Malik Beasley for, unknown reasons right now, they've still been able to get it done, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I thought they would struggle a lot more without Beasley in the lineup to spread the floor a little bit. But a game that I am looking a little bit more zeroed in on is the Bulls versus the Hornets. It's another game that has a really bad team in it. The Hornets are absolutely terrible. I'm looking at this first quarter as well to go over 60.5 against a Bulls team that Their announcer's the most fun in the league. Every time they're winning a game, they're must-see TV. The Elizabeth calls are my favorite of all time, probably. But with a total approaching 250 for this game, the first quarter was something that had a little bit more of an edge for me. You can get it at 60.5. Both teams allowing over 32 points per game in the first quarter this season. Charlotte's the second worst defense in the NFL or NBA, excuse me. And they're the second highest first quarter scoring team, which is shocking with how bad they are. They have a lot of games fall apart late for them. LaMelo and Brandon Miller being back for Charlotte, it's a lot of fun. Praying that the Wolves don't make a move for LaMelo Ball anytime soon. But in this game, I like it to go over 60.5 in the first quarter.
Now, what are your thoughts on the Knicks and the Bucks? Because both teams are still, in it. Neither team's eliminated. The same thing I would say would be about the Nuggets and the Spurs. Both teams still in it. Do you have your eyes on either of these games, knowing that these teams should still be going out there trying to grab the win in advance?
It's tough. The Knicks are a team that they should be, right up at the top of the Eastern Conference for sure. But the Bucks are a team that are very confusing. It feels like whenever I fade the Bucks, they find a way to have a real showing and get it done. And every time I put a little bit of trust in the Bucks, they lose by 20. So I don't know. Again, I'm taking another weird angle. I'll give you another random game that I'm looking at here with Luka Doncic to go over 50.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I think the revenge angle here is kind of being undervalued. I think that Luka's going to try to stick it to the Mavs pretty good here. He's 9-4 to the total this season on 53.2 average for points, rebounds, and assists. This being an NBA Cup game means that the margin does matter, as you guys have mentioned. I trust Luka to stay in this game and just absolutely destroy the Mavericks. And one more icing on the cake for Nico Harrison.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness. I can't. Yeah. Well, team total on. Well, Lakers won't play any defense on that. And by the way, Giannis is questionable again tonight for the Bucks, but who knows if he's actually going to play or not. If I'm him, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Maybe I'll stretch this out a little bit longer here. By the way, Nick, congratulations. I heard you're starting for your Minnesota Vikings this weekend. Great job. That's great. Maybe some sort of phantom concussion can hit you as well before it's all said and done. But it just feels like, are we sticking up? Everyone thought it's the Sam Darnold revenge game. That Minnesota defense, who knows him better than those guys on your sideline there for the Vikings? What is this really going to be, just a blowout? Is Darnold just going to throw all over this defense?
Joe, just when I thought I couldn't lose more of your respect, I do have to remind you I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, so we came up in the winning column this week. Yeah. But I do have an angle on this Vikings game because I think this Brosmer start is hilarious, and I've been having so much fun making fun of Viking fans this week about it. I'm going to look at Sam Darnold in a revenge spot game. Let's keep the revenge thing going. I think Sam Darnold goes over 1.5 passing touchdowns in this game. I think this game will be played like an in-season tournament NBA game. I think the Seahawks are going to try to destroy the Vikings. I think Darnold's going to make a statement here for not giving him a contract. I love Sam Darnold to go over 1.5 passing touchdowns in this game. Minnesota has only faced 2 offenses in the top 10 in EPA all season. The Seahawks are 4, so they'll bring some mean reversion back to this Vikings defense that has probably given up with what's happening on the offensive side of the football.
Well, speaking of the NFL, is there anything else that catches your eye this week? Because we have some big totals. We have some, what I would consider weird lines. I don't like the Falcons on the road laying points. Is there anything that catches your eye this week in what has been a crazy start for some games dating back to yesterday?
Yeah, I think with props, especially around the NFL right now, you got to start looking at the weather. So I will say keep an eye on the weather for this one. But Drake May to go over 242 passing yards. Drake May's 9-3 to this number this season. The Giants are not great on the defensive side of the football. Jameis Winston's kept them interesting. Whoever plays quarterback, the Giants can score. I'm looking at Drake May over 242.
No, Nick Amity, bringing it, my man.